Welcome everyone to today's Filter Creation Masterclass, automatically detecting and removing personal details. My name is Emil Andersson and I am the marketing manager here at Becerro. And today I am joined by none other than our filter manager, Kevin Martinez.
Hello everyone.
And I will soon let Kevin take over because he's really the star of the show today. But first, I want to encourage all of you who's calling in to send in any questions you might have. Maybe you're stuck with some issues with your own filter creation process. Here's a great chance for you to ask a true expert in the field, and you'll send in your questions on the right-hand side in the control panel. And we will either pick them up as we go, or we will answer them in the end. And in today's masterclass, we are going to work in our content moderation tool, Implio. Some of you might already have an account in Implio, but for you who don't, I highly recommend that you create a free account so that you can try to recreate the filters that Kevin is going to take you through today. And then a last point before I let Kevin take over is filter creation can be difficult. And I urge you all to stay attentive throughout today's masterclass, because if you miss a step here and there, it might be very difficult to get back into it. I know at least I've had difficulties with this before. So my recommendation is to turn off any notification you might have on devices and fully focus as Kevin goes into the filter creation process. All right, Kevin, I will leave the floor to you.
Cool, thanks Emil. So let's get started. I will go through the process of creation for personal detail filter. I will start with the email addresses one, and then I will go through the one for phone numbers. Just a quick explanation about what we see. This is where you create filters. This is where you put your name for your filters, a quick description. This is always useful, especially when you have a lot of filters for your setup. So like this, you can easily recognize what was the purpose of each one. So this is the basic mode. It's really simple to use. You had a condition here. You select the field that you are interested about. Let's say my body contains. So this is all the list of operators that we have: contains, not contains, equals, not equals. Each of them has a special meaning, but let's just focus on the contents for now. And then here I put what I want to look for. So let's say it's an email address filter. I want to look for @signs. Then obviously you set up an action for your filters. No action, the filter track everything but will not take action. It will just show you every matches. So this is a really helpful options when you start creating a filter, because then we need to work on its accuracy. So it's better to see everything first, and then when we are accurate enough, we can select the proper action: send to manual moderation, refuse, or also approve. So this was the basic mode, but now the things will start being more interesting from the advanced view. This is where I'm used to create the filters. So I will start over so you can see how it works from here. So we say filter to email addresses in the text. So I'm using blank expression, which is Becerro language. It's a language especially made for Implio, and I'm saying that my text contains any @signs. I'm doing this at first because we cannot really anticipate what will be the matches once you have created a filter. So it's better to start really open at first, detect all the patterns we might find with an @sign, and then work on the accuracy until we are matching exactly what we are looking for. So in that case, email addresses. I'm gonna put some example here just to show you what kind of matches you can expect with an @sign and a filter. Sometimes people use the @signs to specify they use the @signs for the characteristic of the computers, but also some people might use the @signs to try to sell forbidden medicines on the website. But also you can find the @signs in email addresses like this. with a basic filter like that, as you can see, I have 3 matches. I'm matching with computer specificities, words like Viagra with a at, and email addresses. This is a good start, but obviously this is not what we want. We want only to result with the last line here. We just want to catch email addresses. So this is when the real thing starts. I'm going to work with regular expression. So to just give you a quick overview, regular expression is an informatic language that will allow me with one regex to match different variation of the same words. Actually, I will show you quickly how it works. If I have iPhone written in different way, like this, and I create a regex to catch them all, I need to do like this. So I'm just saying that my regex starts with an I, an optional character, and then it can be F or PH, and then iPhone. And as you can see, with one regular expression, I am able to catch 3 different ways of writing. This misspelling can be intentional when users try to get published, but it can also be by accident. So for me, regular expression are really important, especially in filtering, because it saves time and space. Instead of writing 3 different words, I just write one and I'm able to catch them all. Let's get back to the email address filter. Now you are familiar with regular expression. I will start building the one I need to catch email addresses. So I start by saying that I want any letter from A to Z, because as you know, the first part of the email can be composed by letters, numbers, specific characters such as dots, dash, underscore, and some other. Then we have the @ signs. Then we have another setup of letters or numbers, then the dot, and then the TLD, the top level domain, which can be .es, .com, .fr. So now I know how an email address is composed. I can work on the regex. So I want to catch any letter from A to Z with any number from 0 to 9, any dot, any dash, and any underscore. And all of this between brackets can be repeated several times. So I'm just adding the plus, then we have the @ signs, then again any letter from A to Z, any numbers from 0 to 9, any dot, any dash, any underscore. This also can be repeated again several times. Then I want to catch literally the dot signs, and my Firefox is not responding. Yes, it's back. So literally the dot signs. Then for the TLD domain, it's always between two more letters. So I know that I'm just looking for any letters between A to Z that can be repeated 2 times to unlimited times. And this should work to catch only the email address. So now we are excluding the 2 first results, which for us what we call false positive, which is basically a wrong match. Depending on the context, the @ here, it's not relating to email addresses, but just for like computer specificities and other stuff. But with this regex, now I'm able just to catch email addresses. If, for example, I had some numbers, you see that my regular expression is still catching the email address. This is an accurate and perfect valid regex to detect email addresses hidden in the text. It can be the title or the body, and this is how it works. Then if I want to add white space, because obviously when users understand that there is a moderation behind or a filtering system, they will try always to avoid that. So by just adjusting the regex, and here, and here, I am still able to catch all variation. I know it can look scary, but it's really simple, just to proceed step by step. And then now my filter is very accurate. I'm not matching anything else than email addresses. I can set up a proper action. It depends on the client, but usually with a perfect regex like that, I will go with the refuse item, but then following the client's needs, we can send it to manual moderators and they will take the final decision behind. For me, that's it for email addresses.
Can I jump in a little bit, Kevin?
Yes.
Super. So I'm just curious, I'm sure the audience is as well. What are any common sort of false positives that you might encounter when you create a filter to catch email addresses like this?
What are the false positives we see?
Yeah, any common false positives and how can you try to avoid them?
So yes, so the best was to start with just to detect the ad signs with the few examples I had on the right, until we see all those words that contain the ad signs but are not email addresses. So we need to set up the filter first on no action, because he will contabilize and track every ads with these ad signs. Then we do accuracy test on the filters. That's the job of my team and myself. We review a certain amount of content until we have the perfect quality, meaning that following the matches, if they are correct, for us it's a good sign, and then we start implementing a more accurate regex. This will reduce automatically the number of matches, just resulting with email addresses. This is basically how we do. Then we have a lot of different false positive that can happen. I like saying that expect the unexpected, because we are never sure about what we can find at first. That's why we use no action first. Then your filters start being accurate with the regex you implemented into, and then you can switch the decision when you have the proper action working. So in that case, working just with the last line. Did I answer to your question?
Yeah, so what would be the sort of accuracy levels that you would settle with and that you recommend any filter to be on?
If it's a refuse filter, with my team, we do not deploy any refuse filter below 95% of quality. This is mainly because I'm a user, I'm trying to publish something, I get refused several times without good reason. I'm just trying to sell a bag and I have been refused so many times for a wrong reason, then I will not come back. That's why for us it's really important to have really accurate filter and to refuse when it has to be refused. Otherwise I can understand the frustration for a random user. Then for a manual moderation filter, as we have people behind taking the final decision, we can deploy a filter with 80% of quality. So meaning on 100 ads, I need 80 ads properly matched.
All right, super.
So this was for email addresses. Now I'm going to go through the process for the phone numbers one. I create two different filters, even if those are called personal information. I will have one filter for email addresses and one another filter for phone numbers. This is to divide the matches, to have one filter just for email, so my team and myself can review all matches from this specific filter, and then we create another one for phone numbers. Like this, it will increase our efficiency when we do the accuracy test behind, because you have just one thing to focus on. It's the email filter, so I will see a lot of emails or a lot of ad signs. This is the phone number, so I'm just looking for a digit. I'm gonna review a lot of ads with digits into it. This is yes, it's more handy and more ideal to work that way, and obviously more efficient because you save time. Okay, I will start again from the beginning. Again, this is to create a new rule. I'm in the basic mode. I can specify here title, a description. And now I go in the advanced mode and I'm going to start the process for phone numbers. So we are going to start the same way as the email addresses. I want a simple filter to show me all the ads that contains digits. This is to review all the ads with digits and also identify all the patterns of phone numbers that we might find. For instance, there is phone numbers starting with a prefix plus 33. There is people using mobile which contains I don't know, 9 digits, consecutive 9 digits. or maybe 11 or maybe 13. To understand how many patterns we have, we need to have a really basic filter to detect them all, review them all, and then we will adapt the regex following the cases we found. So once again, text contains, I'm using regular expression to be open as possible. So \d in regular expression mean any digit, so from 0 to 9, and this can be repeated several times, so I'm using the plus. Once this is created, I can show you here, I'm going to result with a lot of different digits. It can be the year of the car in the title, I'm selling a 1999 Ford for instance, or dimension of furniture, but also phone numbers. As you can see, I'm matching all the numbers present here in my box field. So this is what I want to see when I start the filter. Now, obviously, the last line is the most interesting one. I don't want to match with years. I don't want to match with dimensions or another type of digits. I just want to result with phone numbers. So what I need to do here is to change this regex to make it more accurate. And first of all, we're gonna just focus on the prefix this time, and then I will show you how to create another regex that will match phone numbers that, you know, people use to escalate each numbers with white space, the same as they do with email addresses in order to publish personal information and get approved behind by the system because they are not detecting the phone numbers. So first of all, with the prefix, I will put plus 33. Now you see I'm just matching with the beginning of the phone number. Then if I want to be more accurate, like because there is a white space and then numbers, I have to add it here, any white space or any digit several times. And now I'm able to catch the full phone number. I would say it's easier than email addresses because obviously it's just about digits. But now let's say that I want to publish personal information like phone numbers, but I don't want to be detected. So I'm going to escape every numbers with a dot. If I remove the prefix of the plus 33, even if I had it here, actually no, I'm not going to add it here, but if I use a simple regex here to detect phone number, it won't work. It will work individually, but I'm not catching any phone numbers entirely as I want to do it. So this is where I have to work on. So any digit, then any character, any digit, any character, any character, any digit, character, digit, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. As you see now, I only have one match, and it's the full phone numbers coded by the regular expression. It doesn't matter if this is a dot or a white space or a dash or an exclamation point. I can catch them all or possible variation. But this regex cannot catch prefix. So if I want to be more accurate, I can add a second line to the filter and says that I have other pattern such as prefix 33. And if I had it now in the text, plus 33, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, now. I'm catching it now with the second line of the regex. This is how you can create accurate regex for phone numbers. Obviously, one more time, you have to see all the possibilities, all the format, all the pattern, and when you have identified them, you can work on a proper regular expression to just catch those phone numbers. No more dimension, no more years of the cars. And once this filter is accurate, because here as you can see I'm just matching phone numbers, I can specify the action, set the item to manual moderation or refuse. 95% of accuracy for the refuse filter, but otherwise you can set it up to send to manual moderation. So those are pretty simple. We have more example, we have more pattern. Every day we find more a way that user find to get published. And obviously with my team, we are trying to tackle them down all. It takes time, but it's what we do.
Super, great. And as I mentioned before, we really want this to be sort of an interactive masterclass because we want all your questions to send them in. So we have received a few. Because you're ready to move on to questions, right, Kevin? So I'm not taking you off.
Yes, I'm
Yeah,
ready.
super. So for you guys who hasn't sent any questions in yet, please submit them, and we will get to them soon. Let's jump into the first one. So how would you deal with a phone number that's spelled out or texted?
Okay. Like I replace all numbers by text, like 1, 1, 2, 3, etc. So here, this part of the regex means any digit. So obviously it's not matching with letters. I need to build another regular expression, and I need to create all the possibilities, because obviously phone numbers can start with any random digit, can be a 0, a 9, and then we can find a 6, or again a 0, a 9. So I have to list down all the possibilities, and I'm starting now. I'm creating a capturing group with parentheses. So basically a capturing group, the regex will say it can be any word in this capturing group, or it can be all of them. So it will look for them separately, or it will look for them in general. What I need to do is to list down all the number, 4, 5, 6, etc. And a white space, because they can be separated with white space. Let me just repeat this again. If now I close the regex, we are catching the first part, 1, 1, and 1 and 2. So if the digit is composed by 9 different numbers and they are all texted, I need to put all the possibilities in capturing group and repeat this as many times as needed until I catch all the phone number. This one is tricky, but obviously the way we build it, we have considerably reduced the number of false positive, with people saying I am selling one mobile, 2 cases for the mobile, because obviously we can think if I build the regex like this, I'm going to have a lot of false positive with people listing down the items they are selling in the same ad. But no, like this we limit really the false positive we might see.
Right. So would you then create, I'm following up on this question, but would you then create this line as part of the other rule that you just created for phone numbers, or would you create different filters for each?
I can group them if they are just for phone numbers, but you're right, I will start with creating another filter, and again same process. I will leave these regexes, then I will leave no action until I see that the quality of this filter is good. When it's good, I can take this line and merge it to the phone numbers filter, and it will work properly. Just it's better to always separate everything, calculate the quality of every regexes, and when you know that the quality is good, you can merge them. Otherwise, the risk is you implement a new line in your filter, it was accurate before, but you didn't do the test properly for the new one, and now you're starting having, I don't know, 10,000 matches, 20,000 matches, 50,000 matches, just because one bad regex that hasn't been tested well before the implementation. So always to divide everything, calculate the quality separately, and then if everything is good, you can merge them. But you won't merge it with the email address, because for me the email address is something else. We should just see email addresses in that one, and this one only phone numbers.
Okay, super. So let's move on to the next question then. Here we go. It's not about, this one is not about personal details, but it's, can you show how to create a filter to catch bad words?
Yes, Actually, I have a list and a filter already available on Implio for that purpose. I can show you quickly how you can do it from here, and then I will show you how it looks like on the filter we have implemented and available. So same way as the phone numbers and the email addresses, I'm looking into the text if it contains any bad words. So sorry for my language. Let's look for this one, pretty famous one where people are angry. Obviously, this word can be spelled in so many ways, so different ways. So again, I'm using regexes. So it can be with a white space, without a white space, with a H, without a H, with a E or more E. So then obviously you can see here it's matching with all the variation. This is the simple way. Obviously, you have to list down all the bad words you want to detect. Again, start the filter, to be very generic. Just look for the words you think you will find, but keep in mind that in some cases, like for puppies, little dog, it's called a bitch. If you are looking for a bitch bad words, obviously you're gonna have a lot of matches from the animal category if there is any, and you have to think about that before turning this filter to take action. Because if you don't take this into consideration, you might end up at the end of the day with no more dogs in the category animals. So this is the generic one, and now I can show you quickly how it looks like from my boost automation. And here. So this is what we call a multiple layer filters. It allows to detect in the text any bad word in English. So we have a pre-made list in English. We are excluding things in the title such as puppies or dog de Bordeaux and other um, type of dogs that you can encounter, but also in the body, because some people will say just in the title, I'm selling a dog, and then it's a nice, puppy, female, etc. And we have to counter all possible false positive that can be from the title or from the body or from both. And then we use in the text any other I would say expression we want to avoid, like there is a lot of books with some words like right now I have the Ballad of Gay Tony, which is GTA 5. I don't know if you know Emil. Grand Theft
No,
Auto.
no.
Because in this list I can show you have some words like the most common bad words in English. There are just few of them. I know it can be like, but there is so many others. But those one, I assure you, if you use this list, you won't have a lot of false positive because the filter has been built like that. So obviously we have a lot of them here, but in the filter, they are all below this list. I didn't mention the list before, but the list is just a list you can create and reuse as many times as you want, so you don't need to always, rewrite all the words you are looking for. You just use the list. It's more handy. It's ideal to build several filters like that. So this is how you create a filter for for bad words on the extra level.
Yeah, I hope that answered the question as well. And for lists can also be used like in personal details, if we think about that, to blacklist sort of known emails that you want to keep away, right?
Yes, exactly. Let's say I want to create a list of email addresses that I don't want to see on the website, and those email addresses are the one you can create for free, Outlook, GMX, etc. So I can create a list with all the email addresses I want to avoid, and then I can use it in my filter saying that my text not contains then the list of emails that I don't want to see. Uh, Again, it's just to avoid to constantly write down again the same words, create a new filter. I have to copy paste the whole line. No, in this case, you create just a list and then you can reuse the list as many times as you want.
Exactly. And like you mentioned, for bad words, these filter and lists, there are already some that we have created and are available in Implio. So ready to use. Let's move on for, I think it will have to be the last question because we're at the time mark already of 30 minutes. But feel free to send in any questions still. And if we get more, then we can reply to them later. Last question then. Is it possible to detect personal details in fields such as username and
Yes. Yes. Can I demo it? Do a demo
absolutely,
about it?
absolutely.
So I'll create a new rule for that. So again, two possibilities, or you use the basic mode and you just select your condition here. So in that case, I'm not going to use it because I want to build different level. One it's going to be for the title, the other one for the body, and the last one it was for username, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
In fields such as usernames.
So I don't want personal detail at all, but I want to do the difference when the personal detail is in the title or is in the body or another field. So here, title, not contain. Actually, I will be the other way around. Contains. So I have to put the regex again for email addresses. I will take this example. Dot. Repeat it several times. The at. This part I'm going to copy it. Here I look for the dot and then the TLD. That can be 2 letters or more. So here if I have an email address in the title, it's catching it. Now I don't want also personal information from the body, so I just had a whole end condition and I change this by body. So if I test it, it should work and match both of them. Yes, detected in the title and the body. And now what we see, it's usually people put their own email addresses in the username field, and it's forbidden. So we'll just repeat the regex, but to detect any pattern of email address in another field. And if I copy this here, we can see 3 different matches, one from the title, one from the body, and now from the username. This was the field I was thinking about, but if you have another question, just let me know. But this is how I will do if I have to catch yes, user information in the username.
And then personal data. Yeah, and then if it would still be any variations to how you write your email, like with spaces or dashes, etc., you just add that to the filter, to the regex as well, right?
Exactly. After a while, we will see, for instance, people adding white space between every part of the mail. So like this, they don't get detected. So here it's not matching. And I have to adapt the regex with this. And now I am able to detect all of them.
Super. We are a little bit over time, but I'm super happy to see that all of you stayed throughout today's masterclass. Kevin, do you have anything else you want to add, or shall we round off?
No, I'm good.
Okay, super. So thank you all for participating today. I hope this was very helpful and that you have a lot of knowledge to bring back to your own marketplace. And at Besedo, we want you to succeed with your content moderation. And one of the ways we can help is through filter management in Implio. So if you're a current customer to us or are thinking about using Implio for your content moderation, then our filter specialists, Kevin and his team, can come in and help translate your site policies into automated rules. Very high accurately automated rules suitable for your site.
Will
So if you're
gladly do
interested
it.
in, yeah, I know you are. So if you're interested in this, then feel free to reach out to me at emil.anderson@becero.com. And now, just to round things off, following this masterclass, we will send you a collection of filter creation resources. It includes videos, a short checklist on how to create filters, etc., etc. Also an interview with you, Kevin, I believe.
Okay.
So make sure to check that out when you receive it in your inbox. So thank you very much, Kevin, for coming in and sharing your knowledge.
Thanks, Emil. Thanks for every participant as well.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thanks, bye.
Thank you. Bye.